Well, I just got reminded as to why I almost threw away this extension cord. Um, I knew I was smelling something weird. That's supposed to be flat. That melted. So it looks like I will be going to Home Depot and getting some new electrical ends. And I will be throwing this extension cord away now. The cord itself is not hot. It seems to be anything that I plug into here. So it's just this end. I may just replace this end. I may just throw away the whole thing because this isn't good. I got my vacuum and my table saw. That's the table saw. Not good. Vacuum, table saw. All right, so for this one, I'm just gonna bring you up a little closer. Let's see how fast we can get this done. So on this one, I stripped the wires and I've got corrosion on the wires. That's not a good thing. We don't want that. You always want to get back to clean wire. So I'm going to go back about 6 inches or so and try again. After a foot, we still have quite a bit of corrosion on the wires. It may be time to replace this shop vac. This could be why it did it in the first place. So after doing the vacuum cleaner cord, I didn't like that wire. I pulled out the cord from the extension that it was plugged into to see what happened there. I did already cut off the end because it did burn it, and I cut it off so I wouldn't be tempted to reuse it again. I like the wires in this a lot better. Now, when I was talking about don't clip the wire, this is exactly what I mean. I wasn't trying to be careful because I was just trying to inspect it and see what's going on. That's what you don't want. That could cause an arc between ground or common and start a fire real quick, trip breakers, burn things up. Don't do that. All right, so I got this vacuum cleaner for free from an old job. They were throwing it away. They've been in here at one point before and replaced the switch. So let's see what they did. Let's get this off of here and see if we can just replace this cord. All right, so I got it taken apart. I don't know what they had going on here. They had some overly complicated things with the two switches. Looks like the original switch got stuck in the on position. And so instead of just totally cutting out that switch, they put another switch here, going to the leads of the, I don't know, it was weird. Overly complicated. So what I'm going to try to do is get this extension cord put in its place. I will totally delete the original switch And one problem that I'm gonna have is that the ground has one of these, and I just don't have any of these that are this small, this size. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna solder the old wire that has the existing connector to the new wire. I really didn't want to do this because the whole reason that I'm replacing this is because the wire is shit, but you gotta do what you gotta do. So I got my third hand here set up, got my wires trimmed and fluxed together. So we'll just solder it real quick, put a little bit on the tip, just touch it to it, get underneath it. There we go. It's nice and hot already. Add some flux or some solder. Remember, we're wanting to solder the actual wire, not the soldering iron. And let's go ahead and test it. Make sure that it's got good connection. Be careful, it will be hot. Good to go. Put some shrink tube on there. All right, I got it all put back together. Like I said, that wiring was super complicated for some reason. I don't know why. But let's plug it in, test it out, make sure everything's working properly. It may turn on automatically with plugging it in. Yeah, I didn't know if the switch was on or not. And I can see I do have it plugged in the right way because the air is coming out of the exits instead of sucking it in. I did check that before I went too far with it. And like I was saying with the ends, that some mechanisms are built to where it doesn't matter if it's forward or backward with the plugs. This one, it doesn't matter. Each way that the plugs were connected, the motor ran the same way. But always check that. One thing I did want to talk about is the use of electrical tape and getting the wires, twisting them together, using some sort of twist nut. It's not worth it. Get a $10 soldering gun, get you some solder, learn how to do it. Takes 5 minutes to teach someone. Electrical tape has a place, and typically it's only for marking wires, not actually stopping. It's a band-aid. It's not something you should do permanently. This whole project took about 30 minutes, and doing it correctly is it'll start a fire. It's electrical. You could have a ground. Something happens where you're touching metal, that the wire comes loose and touches that metal, you're getting electrocuted. Heaven forbid something happens with your breaker and your breaker doesn't trip off automatically, you could die. It's electrical. If you don't feel comfortable working with electrical, do not do it.